Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiriye nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttam shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, Chapter 5, The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balram, text 133 onwards. Atev Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gosai Sarva Avatara Lila Kari Sabhar Dikhai. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited to everyone all the pastimes of all the various incarnations. यही रूपे नित्यानंद अनंत प्रकाश सही भावे कहे मुई चैतन्य दास. Thus Lord Nityananda has unlimited incarnations. In transcendental emotion, he calls himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Because that's the mood of Balramji, of serving Krishna. So Nityananda Prabhu is always serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kabhu Guru, Kabhu Sakha, Kabhu Bhritya Leela, Purve Yena Tina Bhave Braje Kaila Kela. Sometimes he serves Lord Chaitanya as his Guru, sometimes as his friend, and sometimes as his servant. Just as Lord Balram played with Lord Krishna in these three different moods in Braj. Vrishahaya Krishna Sane Matha Mathirana Kabhu Krishna Karetar Pada Samvahana. Playing like a bull, Lord Balram fights with Krishna head to head, and sometimes Lord Krishna massages the feet of Lord Balram. Apana ke bhritya kare Krishna Prabhu jane, Krishna raka lara kala apana ke mane. He considers himself a servant and knows Krishna to be his master. Thus he regards himself as a fragment of Krishna's plenary portion. Vrishyamano nardanto yuyudhate parasparam anukritya ruter jantush chiratu prakrita yata. Acting just like ordinary boys, they played like roaring bulls as they fought with each other, and they imitated the calls of various animals. So there's like boys play in the field. This and the following quotation are from Bhagavatam, 10th canto. Kvachit krida parishrantam gopastango param gopastango barhanam swayam vishramyati aryam pada sambaham adipi. Sometimes when Lord Krishna's elder brother, Lord Balram, felt tired after playing and lay his head on the lap of a cowherd boy, Lord Krishna himself served him by massaging his feet. Keyam va kuta ayata devi va nari utasuri prayo mayastu me bhartur nanya me api vimohini. Who is this mystic power and where has she come from? Is she a demigod or a demoness? She must be the illusory energy of my master, Lord Krishna, for who else can bewilder me? So this was during Brahm Vimohan Leela. The playful pastimes of the Lord caused suspicion in the mind of Lord Brahma, and therefore Lord Brahma, to test Krishna's lordship, stole all the Lord's calves and cowherd boys with his own mystic power. Shri Krishna responded, however, by replacing all the calves and boys in the field. Lord Balram's thoughts of astonishment at such wonderful retaliation are recorded in this verse. Yasyangri pankajarajo akhila lokapaler mauli uttamer dhritam upasit tirtha tirtham brahma bhavo aham api yasya kalayaha Shrish Chodvahema Chiram Asya Nripasanam Kwa. What's the value of a throne to Lord Krishna? The masters of the various planetary systems accept the dust of his lotus feet on their crowned heads. That dust makes the holy places sacred, and even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lakshmi, and I myself, for all portions of his plenary portion, eternally carry that dust on our heads. when the Kauravas, to flatter Baladev so that he would become their ally, spoke ill of Shri Krishna, Lord Balram became angry and spoke this verse. So Balramji, was the first expansion of Krishna. He is saying, I take the dust of his lotus feet and put on my head. Eternally carry the dust on our heads. Eternally. Ekela Ishvara Krishna ar sab bhritya yare yaiche nachayet se taiche kare nritya. Very important verse. Prabhupada has quoted it many, many times. Ekela Ishvara Krishna ar sab bhritya. Rest everybody is his servant. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them to do so. Yare yaiche nachaye se taiche kare nritya. Ei mata Chaitanya Gosai ekale Ishvara are sab parishadha kehava kinkara. Thus Lord Chaitanya is also the only controller. All others are his associates or servants. Parishad or Kinkar. Kinkar means servant. Parishad means associates. Guru Varga Nityananda Advaita Charya Srivasadi Arayat Lagu Sam Arya Sabbe Parishad Sabbe Lila Rasahaya Sabha Laya Nija Karya Sadhe Gaura Rai. His elders such as Lord Nityananda Advaita Acharya and Srivas Thakur, as well as his other devotees, whether his juniors, equals or superiors, are all his associates who help him in his pastimes. Lord Gauranga fulfills his aims with their help. So when it says everybody else is a servant, Ekala Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the same way, but that doesn't mean Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are just like sitting on a throne and everybody comes and bows at them and does their service. No, they themselves want to serve their devotees and their associates. That's Mahaprabhu or Krishna, that's their mode. But again, the mood of his servants and associates is always to serve. So there's a competition, or not a competition, there's a festival of service in the spiritual world. Here in material world, although we are always serving Maya, but we think everybody should serve me. And there, in the spiritual world, nobody is serving Maya. Everybody is serving Krishna. And Krishna is serving his associates or servants. That's a mood there. Advaita Acharya Nityananda Dui Anga, Dui Jana Laya Prabhu Riyata Kichuranga. Shri Advaita Acharya and Shri Nityananda Prabhu, who are plenary parts of the Lord, are his principal associates. With these two, the Lord performs his pastimes in various ways. Advaita Acharya Gosai Sakshat Ishvara Prabhu Guru Karimani Tinhota Kinkara. Lord Advaita Acharya is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Mahavishnu. Although Lord Chaitanya accepts him as his preceptors, as his Guru, Advaita Acharya is a servant of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya always offered respects to Advaita Prabhu as he would do his father, because Advaita was even older than his father. Yet Advaita Prabhu always considered himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Shri Advaita Prabhu and Ishwar Puri, Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, were both disciples of Madhavendra Puri, who was also the spiritual master of Nityananda Prabhu. Thus Advaita Prabhu, as Lord Chaitanya's spiritual uncle, was always to be respected, because one should respect one's spiritual masters, god brothers, as one respects one's spiritual master. And this Prabhupada always followed this, that one should respect one's spiritual masters, god brothers, as one would respect his own spiritual master. Because of all these considerations, Sri Advaita Prabhu was superior to Lord Chaitanya. Yet Advaita Prabhu considered himself Lord Chaitanya's subordinate. And there's a beautiful pastime. I don't know if it comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavat. How Advaita Acharya, he didn't like that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would consider him as superior. He wanted to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept him as his servant. And he devised a beautiful pastime. So we'll come to that. We'll discuss. Acharya Gosai Tattva Nayaya Katha Krishna Avatari Teno Tarila Bhuvan. I cannot describe the truth of Advaita Acharya. He has delivered the entire world by making Lord Krishna descend. Nityananda Swarupurve Haya Lakshman Lagu Bhrata Haya Kare Ramera Seva. Lord Nityananda Swarup formally appeared as Lakshman and served Lord Ramchandra as his younger brother. Among the sannyasis of the Shankar Sampradaya, there are different names of brahmacharis. Each sannyasi has some assistants known as brahmacharis who are called by a certain name according to the names of the sannyasi. Among such brahmacharis, there are four names: Swarup, Anand, Prakash, and Chaitanya. Nityananda Prabhu maintained himself as a brahmachari. He never took sannyas. As a brahmachari, his name was Nityananda Swarup, and therefore the sannyasi under whom he was living must have been named either Tirtha or Ashram. Because the name for the assistant brahmachari of a sannyasi with either of those names is Swarupa. But Nityananda Prabhu, he left his village, his house, with the sannyasi. I don't think his name was either Tirtha or Ashram. But anyway, he left with that sannyasi, and then after living with that sannyasi, although Nityananda Prabhu was very young, I think 8 or 10 years old, and then he left the sannyasi and he roamed around all over India on his own. His only pretext was he wanted to get out of the house, go for Tirtha Yatra all over. In the mood of actually Balramji. Because Balramji, as we know, when the Mahabharata war started, and both Kauravas and Pandavas approached him to come fight on their behalf, and Balramji said, no, you are both are brothers, it's a family, I'm not going to take sides. So he went for pilgrimage. So same as when he came as Nityananda Prabhu, he had the same mood as Balramji. So he went on pilgrimage. Ramera Charitra Sava Dukhera Kara Swatantra Lilaya Dukha Sahena Lakshman. The activities of Lord Ram were full of suffering, but Lakshman, of his own accord, tolerated that suffering. And actually, Lakshman was younger brother of Lord Ram. And then in this Ram pastimes, Lord Ram's pastimes, after they came back to Ayodhya, Lakshman said, this is too much. I saw you suffering so much, but I could not say anything because I was younger brother. So next incarnations, I'll come as elder brother. So at least you would listen to me. Of course, he came as Balramji and Krishna hardly listened to him, and he came as Nityananda Prabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never listened to him. Not never, but they still did their own thing. But this is the mood of Balramji, Nityananda Prabhu, and Lakshman, always to serve the main incarnation. Nisheda karite nare yate chota bhai, maunadhari rahe Lakshman mane dukha pai. As a younger brother, he could not stop Lord Ram from his resolution, and so he remained silent, although unhappy in his mind. Krishna avatare jeshta haila sevar karan. Krishna ke karaila nana sukha aswadan. When Lord Krishna appeared, he, Balram, became Krishna's elder brother to serve him to his heart's content and make him enjoy all sorts of happiness. So this was his only mood, to serve him and make Krishna happy. Rama Lakshman Krishna Rame Ransha Vishesha Avatar Kale Dohe Dohate Pravesha. Shri Ram and Shri Lakshman, who are plenary portions of Lord Krishna and Lord Balram respectively, entered into them at the time of Krishna's and Balram's appearance. With reference to the Vishnu Dharmotar, the Laghu Bhagavatamrita explains that Ram is an incarnation of Vasudeva, Lakshman is an incarnation of Sankarshan. Bharat is an incarnation of Pradyumna and Shatrughna is an incarnation of Aniruddha. The Padma Puran describes that Ramchandra is Narayan and that Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna are respectively Shesha, Chakra and Shankha, the conch shell in the hand of Narayan. In the Ram Gita of the Skanda Puran, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna have been described as a triple attendants of Lord Ram. So, as yesterday we studied, they all are okay. It is possible that in different kalpa means different days of Brahma, or every time Ram comes to perform his pastimes, he chooses different associates to come as Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna. No, cannot argue over there. It's not like only Sheshnag and Chakra and Shankha will come as Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna. Not necessarily. Sei Ansha Laya Jeshta Kanishta Bhimana Ansha Anshi Rupe Shase Kare Vyakhyan. Krishna and Balram present themselves as younger brother and elder brother, but in the scriptures they're described as the original supreme personality of Godhead and his expansion. So, for the pastimes they come as younger and elder brother. Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishtan Nana Vataram Akarod Bhuvanesha Kintu Krishna Swayam Sambhavat Paramah Pumaniyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajan. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who by his various plenary portions appear in the world in different forms and incarnations such as Lord Ram, but who personally appears in his supreme original form as Lord Krishna. So Ramadi Murti Shukala, Nana Avatavaram, he has so many avatars. He appears in different forms and incarnations. Shri Chaitanya Sai Krishna Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Purna Kare Chaitanya Rakam. Lord Chaitanya is the same as Lord Krishna and Lord Nityananda is Lord Balram. Lord Nityananda fulfills all of Lord Chaitanya's desires. Nityananda Mahima Sindhu Ananta Apar Ek Karna Sparshi Matra Se Kripataha. The ocean of Lord Nityananda's glories is infinite and unfathomable. Only by his mercy can I touch even a drop of it. It's an infinite ocean, but only by his mercy we can touch a drop. Ar ek shun tar kripar mahima adhamaji vera chadai la urdhva samisima. Please listen to another glory of his mercy. He made a fallen living entity climb to the highest limit. That's Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. Veda guya kathai ayogya kahite tathapi kahiye tara kripa prakashite. To disclose it is not proper, for it should be kept as confidential as the Vedas. Yet I shall speak of it to make his mercy known to all. Ullasa upari leko tomara parshad Nityananda Prabhu mora kshama aparad. O Lord Nityananda, I write of your mercy out of great exultation. Please forgive me for my offenses. Avadhuta Gosai Rek Britya Prema Dham, Meena Ketan Ramadas Hayataranam. Lord Nityanand Prabhu had a servant named Shri Meena Ketan Ramadas, who was a reservoir of love. So it's a beautiful pastime of Shri Meena Ketan Ramadas. Amar alaya ho ratra sankirtana, tahate aila teno paya nimantrana. At my house there was sankirtan day and night, and therefore he visited there, having been invited. Mahaprema Mahetino Vashilangane Sakala Vaishnavatara Vandila Charani. Absorbed in emotional love, he sat in my courtyard and all the Vaishnavas bowed down at his feet. Namaskare karite karu parite chade, preme kare vanchi mare kaha ke chapade. In a joyful mood of love of God, he sometimes climbed upon the shoulder of someone offering obeisances, and sometimes he struck others with his flute or mildly slapped them. Ye nayan dekhite ashru haya mane yar, sei netre avichina vahe ashru dhara. When someone saw the eyes of Meenaketan Ramadas, tears would automatically flow from his own eyes. For a constant shower of tears flowed from the eyes of Meenaketan Ramadas. Kabhu kona ange dekhi pulak kadamba, eka ange jade thara ara ange kampa. Sometimes there were eruptions of ecstasy like kadamba flowers on some parts of his body. And sometimes one limb would be stunned while others would be trembling. So these were because of ecstasy or ecstatic emotions. He was going through different, all these eruptions were shown on his body. Nityananda Valiyave Karena Hunkara Taha Dekhi Loke Rahaye Maha Chamatkara. Whenever he shouted aloud the name Nityananda, the people around him were filled with great wonder and astonishment. Gunarnav Mishra Name Eka Vipra Arya Shri Murti Nikate Teho Kare Sevakarya. One respectable Brahman named Shri Gunarnav Mishra was serving the deity. Angane Asiyate Huna Kaila Sambhasha Taha Deki Krudha Haya Bale Ramadasa. When Meenaketan was seated in the yard, this Brahman did not offer him respect. Seeing this, Sri Ramdas became angry and spoke. Now, Brahman, Gunarnav Mishra, he was serving his deities. So he didn't want to be distracted from that service. But he committed an offense against Meenaketan Ramadas by not even offering him respect. Even by lips, he could have offered him respect. Not that he had to bow down and pay obeisance because he was serving his deities. But seeing this, Sri Ramdas became angry and spoke. Eita Dvitiya Suta Roma Harashan Baladeva Dekiyena Kaila Pratyudgam. Here I find the second Romharshan Sutta, who did not stand to show honor when he saw Lord Balram. So as we know, when Lord Balram went for the pilgrimage, he came to Namisharanya, where Romharshan Sutta was speaking Bhagavatam to all the assembled sages. But because he was speaking Bhagavatam, he was sitting on Vyasasan. But when Balramji enters the arena, everybody, all the other sages bowed down, but he did not get up from his Vyasasan to bow down. And Lord Balram also got angry with him. Eta bali nache gaye kare santosha, Krishna karya kare vipra na karila rosha. After saying this, he danced and sang to his heart's content, but the Brahman did not become angry, for he was then serving Lord Krishna. So Meenaketan Ramdas was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda. When he entered the house of Krishnadas Kaviraj, Gunarna Mishra, the priest who was worshipping the deity installed in the house, did not receive him very well. A similar event occurred when Romharshan Sutta was speaking to the great assembly of sages at Naimisharanya. Lord Baldev entered that great assembly, but since Romharshan Sutta was on the Vyasasana, he did not get down to offer respects to Lord Balram. The behavior of Gunarana Mishra indicated that he had no great respect for Lord Nityananda, and this idea was not at all palatable to Meenaketan Ramadas. For this reason, the mentality of Meenaketan Ramadas is never deprecated by devotees. The Meenaketan Ramadas, a great devotee of Lord Nityananda, and he should have been given proper respects. So this is something we always have to keep in our mind when we are dealing with devotees. The devotee might not be or might be very, very exalted devotee, but how humble we should be in dealing with them with respect, that's what we need to learn. Uttasavante gela tino kari aparshan or bhrata sane tar kechu hailavada. At the end of the festival, Meenaketan Ramadas went away, offering his blessings to everyone. At that time, he had some controversy with my brother. Chaitanya Prabhu te tara sudrida vishwasa, Nityananda prati tara vishwasa abhasa. My brother had firm faith in Lord Chaitanya, but only a dim glimmer of faith in Lord Nityananda. And that's what the problem was. Iha jani Ramadasir dukha haila mane, tave tab bratare ami karinu bratsane. Knowing this, Sri Ramadas felt unhappy in his mind. I then rebuked my brother. Dui bhai ek tanu samana prakasha, Nityananda naman tomar habe sarvanasha. These two brothers, I told him, are like one body. They are identical manifestations. If you do not believe in Lord Nityananda, you will fall down. Ekete vishwas anyana kara sammana, artha kukuti nyaya tomara pramana. If you have faith in one but disrespect the other, your logic is like the logic of accepting half a hen. So what is Ardha Kukuti Nyaya? So there was this businessman or shopkeeper, and he had this hen, and hen would give him golden eggs every day. So he was very happy, but at the same time, the hen would eat the required whatever stuff every day. So the businessman, he was thinking, what is this? I like the back part of the hen, which gives me eggs, but I don't like the front part of the hen, which is always demanding something to eat. But he didn't understand. Until the hen eats, he cannot give eggs, but she cannot give eggs, and especially golden eggs. But that's why it's called Ardha Kukuti Nyaya. Faith in one, but disrespect the other. And faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but disrespecting Nityananda Prabhu. It doesn't work. It's got to have respect for both. Similarly, other like Ram and Lakshman, Krishna Balram, one got to have respect for both. One can have more attraction towards one Ishtadev. That's a different story. But not to have respect for the other, that will be a problem. Kimva dohana maniya hata praspashanda ekamani arana mani mata banda. It would be better to be an atheist by slighting both brothers than a hypocrite by believing in one and slighting the other. क्रुद्ध हैया वंशी भांगी चले रामदास तात काले आमार भ्रात्र हैल सर्वनाश. The Sri Ramadas broke his flute in anger and went away, and at that time my brother fell down. So this is severe offense, serious offense, and the result is terrible. एक कहिला तार सेवक प्रभाव आर एक कही तार दयार स्वभाव. I have thus described the power of the servants of Lord Nityananda. Now I shall describe another characteristic of his mercy. भाई के भरसिनु मुई लया ए गुण सही रात्र प्रभु मोर दिला दर्शन. That night, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream because of my good quality in chastising my brother. Nai hati nikate jhamatpura nama grama taha swapne dekha dela Nityananda Ram. In the village of Jhamatpura, which is near Naihati, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream. So this is when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was in Navadvip. And look at Prabhupada, how he describes. There is now a railway line to Jhamatpura. If one wants to go there, he can take a train on the Katwa railway line and go directly to the station known as Salar. From that station, one can go directly to Jhamatpura. It's a small village in Navadvip. So I guess the way Prabhupada is describing, one day we have to go to Navadvip and go to all these places to take darshan. Dandavat hayami padinu payete nij pad padma prabhu dila mor mate. I fell at his feet offering my obeisances, and he then placed his own lotus feet upon my head. So this is also one of the things that Lord Nityananda did, and other bona fide spiritual masters do that. They put their lotus feet upon the head of their followers, or we can say disciples, or those who have faith in that spiritual master. Means understanding that my position is at even the lower part of your lotus feet, not even the upper part of your lotus feet. But the person has to be very, very, very spiritually advanced to be able to do that, to put his feet on somebody's head. Otherwise, it can give lots of reactions. Uth uth bali mor bale bar bar uth tar rupa dekhi hainu chamatkar. Arise, get up, he told me again and again. Upon rising, I was greatly astonished to see his beauty. Shyama chikana kanti prakanda sharira sakshat akandarpa yeche mahamallavira. He had a glossy blackish complexion, and his tall, strong, heroic stature made him seem like Cupid himself. Suvalita hastapada pada kamala nayana pata vasra shire pata vasra paridhana. He had beautifully formed hands, arms, and legs, and eyes like lotus flowers. He wore a silk cloth with a silk turban on his head. Suvarna kundala karne, suvarna gadda vala, payate nupur baje kanthe pushpa mala. He wore golden earrings on his ears and golden armlets and bangles. He wore twinkling anklets on his feet and a garland of flowers around his neck. Chandana lepitanga tilaka suthama mata gaja jini mada manthara payan. His body was anointed with sandalwood pulp, and he was nicely decorated with tilak. His movements surpassed those of a maddened elephant. Koti Chandra Jini Mukho Ujjvala Varana Dadimba Bija Sam Danta Tambul Charma. His face was more beautiful than millions upon millions of moons, and his teeth were like pomegranate seeds because of his chewing metal. Dadimba bija, dadimba, pomegranate, anar. Preme mat ang dahine vame dole, Krishna Krishna baliya, gambhira bola bole. His body moved to and fro, right and left, for he was absorbed in ecstasy. He chanted Krishna, Krishna in a deep voice. So that is Nityananda Ram. Ranga hayasti haste dole, yena mata sema, chari pashe vedi ache, charaneta bringa. His red stick moving in his hand, he seemed like a maddened lion. All around the four sides of his feet were bumblebees. Parishad gane dekhi sab gopa veshe, Krishna, Krishna, kahe sabhe sa prema veshe. His devotees dressed like cowherd boys surrounded his feet like so many bees and also chanted Krishna, Krishna, absorbed in ecstatic love. Shinga vanshi bajai keha nache gaye, sevak yogaye tambul chamara dhulai. Some of them played horns and flutes and others danced and sang. Some of them offered betel nuts and others waved chamar fans about him. Nityananda Swarupera dekhi ave bhav, kiva ripa guna lila alokika sabha. Thus I saw such opulence in Lord Nityananda Swarup. His wonderful form, qualities, and pastimes are all transcendental. Anande vivala ami kichu nahi jani, tabe hasi prabhu moda kahile na vani. I was overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy, not knowing anything else. Then Lord Nityananda smiled and spoke to me as follows. Are Are Krishna Das, na karah bhaya, vrindavane yaha taha sarva lavaya. Oh my dear Krishnadas, do not be afraid. Go to Vrindavan, for there you will attain all things. Etabali prerila mor hata shani diya, antardhan kaila prabhu nijaganalaya. After saying this, he directed me toward Vrindavan by waving his hand. Then he disappeared with his associates. So all this was happening in the dream of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. But Lord Nityananda Prabhu appeared and he gave him his direction, go to Vrindavan. Murshita hayamui padinu bhumi te swapna bhanga haila deki hayache prabhate. I fainted and fell to the ground. My dream broke, and when I regained consciousness, I saw that morning had come. Ki dekinu ki shuninu kariye vichara Prabhu agya dhaila Vrindavan yabara. I thought about what I had seen and heard and concluded that the Lord had ordered me to proceed to Vrindavan at once. So Krishna can come in the dreams, or Prabhupada can come and give instructions. Now it depends upon us how we want to follow it. Seikshane Vrindavane karinu gamana Prabhur kripate sukhe ainu Vrindavan. That very second I started for Vrindavan, and by his mercy I reached there in great happiness. So that going to Vrindavan was not booking a train ticket or anything. Just by foot he started walking. That's it. Jai Jai Nityananda Nityananda Rama Yaha Rakri Pate Painu Vrindavan Dham. All glory to Lord Nityananda Balram, by whose mercy I have attained shelter in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan. Jai Jai Nityananda, Jai Kripa Maya, Yaha Haite Paino Rupa, Sanatan Ashraya. All glories to the merciful Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. Yaha Haite Paino Raghunatha Mahashaya, Yaha Haite Paino Sri Swarupa Ashraya. By his mercy, I have attained the shelter of the great personality, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. And by his mercy, I have found the refuge of Sri Swarup Damodar. So anyone desiring to become expert in the service of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna should always aspire to be under the guidance of Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. To come under the protection of the Goswamis, one must get the mercy and grace of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. The author has tried to explain this fact in these two verses. Sanatan Kripai Paino Bhakti Rasiddhanta, Shri Rupa Kripai Paino Bhakti Rasupranta. By the mercy of Sanatan Goswami, I have learned the final conclusions of devotion service, and by the grace of Shri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. Shri Sanatan Goswami Prabhu, the teacher of the science of devotional service, wrote several books, of which the Brihad Bhagavatamrita is very famous. Anyone who wants to know about the subject matter of devotees, devotion service, and Krishna must read this book. Sanatan Goswami also wrote a special commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam known as Dasham Tippani, which is so excellent that by reading it, one can understand very deeply the pastimes of Krishna in his exchanges of loving activities. Another famous book by Sanatan Goswami is the Hari Bhakti Vilas, which states the rules and regulations for all divisions of Vaishnavas, namely Vaishnava householders, Vaishnava brahmacharis, Vaishnava vanprasthas, and Vaishnava sannyasis. This book was especially written, however, for Vaishnava householders. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has described Sanatan Goswami in his prayer Vilap Kusumanjali, verse 6, where he has expressed his obligation to Sanatan Goswami in the following words. Vairagya Yuga Bhakti Rasam Prayataner Apayayan Mama Anabhipsum Andham Kripam Buddhir Yah Para Dukha Dukhi Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayam. I was unwilling to drink the nectar of devotion service, possessed of renunciation. But Sanatan Goswami, out of his causeless mercy, made me drink it, even though I was otherwise unable to do so. Therefore, he is an ocean of mercy. He is very compassionate to fallen souls like me. And thus it is my duty to offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. So this is mercy of Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami is saying that how I received the mercy. I was given this causeless mercy. And although Raghunath Das Goswami is known as Prayojan Acharya, and he was so renounced, but this is the beauty, this is the humility. They always give credit to the mercy of their elders. And this is how we should always seek the mercy of advanced devotees, so we can also make some progress. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also in the last sections of the Chaitanya Charitamrita especially mentions the names of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Shilajiv Goswami and offers his respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of these three spiritual masters, as well as Raghunath Das. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami also accepted Sanatan Goswami as a teacher of the science of devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami is described as Bhakti Ras Acharya, or one who knows the essence of devotional service. His famous book, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, is a science of devotional service, the science of devotional service. And by reading this book, one can understand the meaning of devotional service. Another of his famous books is Ujjwal Nilamani. In this book, he elaborately explains the loving affairs and transcendental activities of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. But this Ujjwal Nilamani, we are not yet, or at least I can say myself, I'm not qualified to read it because I misunderstand it. So anyway, I guess we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Prabhuji, can you please tell me the name of that book that tells about the rules followed by Vaishnavas at all stages of their lives? Again?
It's Hari Bhakti Vilas.
Hari Bhakti Vilas. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice class.
Thank you, Mata. Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna. Jai